By the end of this video, you will have 5 truths of autistic processing that debunk the myth that autistics are slow processors. And I'll give you a resource that can help you and help us collectively to build a world where autistics can live authentically and be understood authentically. Hi, I'm Kristina-bravo, licensed marriage and family therapist and community psychologist. And this is my channel, Ecologies of Autism, where we explore the myths of autism and pioneer a new literacy of autism together. Ecologies of Autism is also a blog, so please check that out on my website, Kristina-bravo.org. I've worked in mental health for over 20 years, and I am a therapist in private practice. I offer autism evaluations, therapy, and consulting for clinicians, and I write on dialectical behavior therapy, autism evaluations, and of course, ecologies of autism. That's all at KristinaBravo.org. It's linked below. Now, what is the myth that autistics are slow processors? It's exactly what it sounds like. That internally, autistics are processing slowly, like a computer that isn't doing what you're asking it to do, and you have to wait until it completes the desired task in its own time, not at the moment you click for the task to be completed. You may have heard or said yourself about a slow computer, it's thinking. Notice that this example does not include what is actually happening internally. It's what the observer assumes is happening or not happening with the computer. What is also assumed about the computer is that it's supposed to respond in an expected amount of time based on past experiences that built a standard for the witness. That standard could also be known as the non-autistic standard, the autistic standard. Autistic means non-autistic. Here are examples with autistics and the witness. First, an autistic is quiet or verbally silent while appearing to be thinking or processing. Second example, an autistic is always last to respond in a group, such as at school, with family, or friends. The third example, an autistic returns to conversations that were had days ago and asks for clarification. Fourth and last example, an autistic appears to not know what is going on and does not engage as expected. Let's keep these examples in mind as we demystify the slow processing myth of autistics. So listen closely. All myths arise from the autistic gaze. This concept may be at the root of every myth of autism. So what is the autistic gaze? The autistic gaze is the gaze of the non-autistic, because autistic means non-autistic. The autistic gaze isn't just the literal witnessing of the autistic. The autistic gaze includes all of the norms of the autistic world. This includes autistic norms of communication and behavior, all within the gaze. The autistic gaze isn't only from non-autistics. Any person, even an autistic, can see others, see themselves, and see the world through the autistic gaze and reproduce its norms. The myth of the slow processing autistic comes from the autistic gaze, through which the autistic appears to respond abnormally, including not responding at the expected speed and not responding in the expected ways. That's the myth of the slow processing autistic. Our next step is to go through 5 truths of autistic processing, what is happening internally and more authentically for autistics when perceived as slow. Here are the 5 truths. Number 1, images. Many autistics think in images. That doesn't mean one image of a chair, for example. It can mean an entire live scene that moves and evolves in real time. Translation is required to speak about those images, and this translation demands extra time. It also requires decisions, which aspects of the images are scenes to share. 2, autistics cannot parse out information. This includes sensory information like sounds and visual stimuli, and it includes internal information as well. This means that if an autistic notices 5 thoughts, they can parse out 4 and speak the one that they chose. Autistics may have 5 thoughts, and they are all of equal volume, equal importance, and equal value. It's another decision that takes time. 3, associations. Autistics often think in associations. For example, if you speak of a red ball, an autistic may imagine a memory, a whole full moving scene of themselves playing with the red ball with their friends. And then they imagine the scenes of winter because they were playing the red ball outside in winter. Now they're imagining the brisk cold of the winter air, the holidays, and now they're thinking of their aunt, and so on and so on. This is a simple example. When conversations are more complex with deep ideas, emotions, and concepts, the associations are also more complex and harder to parse out. Thinking in associations can create a sense of traveling, and it takes time to reach a destination where speaking makes sense. 4, integrity and honesty. Autistics are honest people of integrity, and they generally don't like to speak without purpose and without meaning. What may appear as slow is a person intentionally taking time to participate in a dialogue in a meaningful way, something that isn't always valued. And 5, fast processing. Autistics often process fast, integrating with images without parsing out information, with associations, all while being mindful about what they are speaking. Fast processing, if you are unaware of how it can appear, can look like the opposite, like slow processing. Now, that is only 5 truths that challenge this myth. There are many, many more. So if you have some, please put them in the comments. Additionally, I encourage you to find writings, lectures, talks, and important contributions in the field of depth psychology. This may include Gloria ANZALDUA and James HILLMAN. I will link some resources below. Depth psychology, also known as psychology of the unconscious, utilizes language that can travel the psyche, the unconscious, dreams, and the other than human worlds. The literacy from depth psychology can break walls of the holistic world and invite in autistic ways of knowing and communicating. Depth psychology can play a pivotal role in dismantling the holistic gaze. I encourage you to explore the field if you are autistic, work with autistics, or are a loved one of an autistic. I hope this was helpful, and thanks for making it to the end of the video. Please see the Ecologies of Autism blog on my website, Kristina-bravo.org, and for writings on the myths of autism and to see more about my work and therapy offerings. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share with anyone who could benefit. See you next time. Take care.